The video itself is going to be pretty simple. It's not going to be technical at all. We are basically going to go over the contract and revise the major functions so that you get a basic idea of how ads are managed on Bitfari. I know that by looking at the code and see how we structured everything, you will get an idea of how exhaustive the Bitfari review process is before posting any ad. So having said that, let's just go ahead and take a look at the entire file. This file is about 800 lines of code, so it's pretty close to being one of the largest smart contracts written on the Stacks platform. Once all of the modules are integrated, this will be probably a set of 10 smart contracts, and they will probably be close to 10,000 lines. So definitely a group of contracts that is substantially, it's very, very substantial. The first one was the digital land contract. Some of you are familiar with that one. That one was also close to 1,000 lines. We want to keep the contracts being less than 1,000 lines just to keep things manageable. They are really not that big. Half of the contract is like documentation. So it's like 500 lines of documentation and then 500 lines of code. So these are very compact programs that get a lot done. So standard Fari contract, you have the name. This is called a simple ad protocol because we use one protocol for all the networks. So this smart contract is going to manage over 30 networks. And we have some documentation about the program, plus some links to a manual. So if you visit this link, you'll see a manual of the contract that gives you an explanation of everything that it does. We have a section for errors. So if you get an error when executing the contract, you can go to this section and then find out what each error code means. Then we have some general variables, just basic stuff. These are essentially settings. And then we have some settings for dashboard variables. This is where TVL is calculated. This is total log value, or total value log, however you want to name it. The idea here is to have variables that the smart contract it's accounting for every time it's run, just to give some transparency to the network. So we make sure that we calculate those at the beginning. These are for ads. So this is ad performance, and this is for network performance. So pretty exhaustive list of variables. So the name of the NFT is a simple ad, because that's the name of the protocol. And then all of these ads are stored in a map inside a pretty big map. The map is going to hold an ID plus a JSON containing all of the dynamically calculated information for the ad. It's going to be assigned to you if you are the advertiser. So this principle, what it means is that this will store your Stacks or Bitcoin address, and then it will store an address for the network. The way that Bitfari ads work is that they get sent to a network. So if you send an ad to the classifieds.btc network, we actually own the domain, it gets distributed to a bunch of sites that are of interest to people looking for classifieds, right? If the ad gets sent to billboards, it gets displayed on one of our billboards. These are real billboards. If it gets sent to malls, it will be displayed either on a real screen at a mall or at a virtual screen on a digital land that resides on a mall, right? So registering shopping malls on a digital land might be interesting because there's a network specifically created for malls, and there are networks specifically created for gyms, for hospitals, all that jazz. You get the idea. Now after that, we go to the main information of the ad. Title. So titles can be 256 characters, so twice as long as a Twitter message. The copy itself can be 512 characters. And this is aside from the image that you can put on the ad, and this is aside from the keyword. So we try to keep a copy short as well. There are ways to make copy bigger, but we are trying to keep it simple, and hence the name Simple Ad Protocol. If we do a lesser number of keywords or words, then all of the search features in the protocol in the platform will work better, right? So we have some URLs. So the art or the image of the ad has 256 characters, and then the link for a click, this has also 256 characters. These two, they can be empty if you choose to just give an empty string. However, if you want to advertise on the net, you can just put a link here, and that would be fine. The link for the art URL needs to be an IPFS link, needs to be static of some sort. The link for click URL doesn't need to be a static link, could be any web link. There's also an oral URL. This is for visually impaired people. If they want to hear the ad, you can provide a link that provides an MP3 file, with the audio for the ads. So if you're driving, you can listen to ads while you're driving and get compensated by Bifari that way. You don't need to see the ads on your windshield. And if a blind person is using Bifari, they can also get ads distributed via sound to them. So that will essentially hugely increase the accessibility of the platform. This is for CPA networks. It's basically two technical fields, so that gets people paid if somebody clicks on those links, on those action links. Now, these are very important fields. They respond to a small tag language that we develop so that you can actually describe the demographic, ethnographic, psychographic, behavioral patterns of the audience you want to target. So you just fill these fields, and that will target those people. Crypto is one new that we are introducing. So we have a tag language. Here you can put tags just to target people that have a certain balance in their accounts or a certain NFT. So if you want to target Megapons NFT holders, you can do so. If you want to target Club 100K NFT holders, you can do so using this field. If you want to target only people that have 1,000 stacks or more in their accounts, you can do it using this field. And this is something new that we're bringing to advertising. So we are using demographic advertising, ethnographic, psychographic, behavioral, but we are introducing cryptographic advertising, which is something entirely new. There's a provision for new types of modalities of advertising, so we are putting those on a future field. And then we move to geolocations. So here you just provide a list. This is going to be basically a JSON of geolocations, and then some geo settings for if you wanted to just set your ad to an OSM ID and type. This will allow you to distribute your ad for a particular relation or way.